Hi, I'm the Moorlander and this is Moorlander EDC. Coming to you today, we are going to be having a look at the Real Steel Luna. This is the Heinnie Haynes or Heinnie Haynes version. So we're going to have a look at this awesome little knife. I picked this up this week and it's brilliant. I'm really impressed with it. So I decided that I was just going to shoot it forward. It's jumped the queue a little bit past a few other reviews, and we'll have a look at this now. Before we do that though, just a couple of things just to remind people. If you like this content, if you've seen previous content, then please hit that subscribe button and the notification button. I am super close to hitting 1,000 subscribers today. As I made this video, I'm 940. So I'm going to do a giveaway. When I hit 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to giving this brand new with tags Osprey Nebula bag away. And I also checked in the last video. I said I'd give away 2 of whatever it was, or at least I'm giving away 1 of each of whatever were my most watched videos. And it turns out that my most watched video is this on the Victorinox Pioneer, the ALOX version, and my second most popular video is this awesome little bag. This is one of the bags that has been used the most by me. These are mine, so I'll make sure that when the giveaway happens that you'll get new versions of those. So hit that like, hit the subscribe button, that'd be great, and let's get back into the knife video. So let's go through some details first on the Luna from Real Steel. The blade itself is D2 steel. This is my first D2 steel knife. I thought I had some in the past, but I've been through my knife collection and no, this is definitely my first D2 steel. As far as D2 steel is concerned, it's quite a highly regarded steel, used a lot to make things like tools, cutting instruments, mainly because as far as resistance to abrasion, it's very high with that. It is a carbon steel, but it also has a higher amount of chromium in it, which means that it is a little bit more resistant to weathering and rust. But because it is still a carbon steel and it's not a stainless steel, you do still have to do some maintenance to it. For me, I just use coconut oil. People use lots of different things. Bit of coconut oil, rub it on, wipe it off lightly so it's still left on there, but it keeps a nice shine and stops it from getting rusty. The blade length itself is from the choil here to the tip across the belly is 70 millimeters, 7 centimeters, which is 2.76 inches. The main reason that I mentioned that it's around the belly it is because it takes into account this radius. It's not a straight line from here to here or a straight line from here to here. It is the length of the cutting edge. So anyone that's ever wondering exactly how we measure the blade lengths specifically here in the UK, if you're questioned or queried by the police, is the length of the belly. So it is actually the length of this curl here, the curve. Oh, sorry, I just knocked the camera while I was scratching myself. The blade thickness, its thickest here at the back is 2.15 millimeters or 0.08 inches. The handle is made from G10. You will see a few different versions of this. There are some more premium versions of the Luna. There is one with a very nice silky micarta scale. There is a titanium version, and there is also a carbon fiber version, but those 3 knives all cost 3 to 4 times the price of this one knife. And I think that's what Heinnie have done a very good job on here, is that they've been able to go to Real Steel and say, look, would you like to collaborate on a knife together? They've used the red, which is the Heinnie, however it's pronounced, colours, which I like. I really do like. They've changed that down to a red G10, and instead of using some of the more premium steels, they've opted for the D2, which again, you can't kick D2. It's a very good steel and a very hard steel, and you know, people respect the steel quite a lot. And instead of it being around 120, 130 pounds, it's been able to drop that down to 29.99, which is perfect. It's a great little knife. So back to some of the measurements. So we know it is a 7cm cutting edge. The length of it when fully closed is 9.8 millimeters. No, it's not. It's 98 millimeters, which is 9.8 centimeters, or 3.86 inches. The total weight, because they've been able to reduce the weight because they've used G10 here in the scales, is 50 grams, which is, you know, it's very light, which is 1.76 ounces. To go round the knife now to have a look at it, so hopefully you can see there. So we have a flat grind, which, you know, it's very nice. It's actually a high flat grind, so the grind goes all the way up to the top of the knife here. You get a perfect 90-degree angle there. There's no rolling over the top at all. It's quite sharp, which, whether you think that's a good or a bad thing, I don't know, but you know, it's a perfect 90-degree angle. There is a fuller here, if you could call it that. Don't get me wrong, I suppose strictly speaking it's a fuller, but really what they've done is they've added a fuller to it so that you can use that as a thumb nick so that you can get it out. I think that's a very clever use of a fuller, and you know, I'd like to see that on more knives. You get the cutting edge down at the bottom, which is a nice, exceptionally sharp cutting edge. When I had this out of the box, I was incredibly impressed by how sharp it was. What I've started to do with new knives that I get now is just run it across a strop a few times, just to make sure it really is as sharp as it can be. And this thing is scalpel sharp. It really is very, very, very sharp. The top of the knife goes across onto a tension system here. So this tension system is similar to the tension systems that you get on non-locking knives, like a Victorinox knife. So here are the anchor points. This works on almost like a ratchet system. So you'll see as it comes up, then the tension at the back rises as well. You have a real nice large pivot here, and this is something that I've not seen before, but I kind of get. I quite like it, rather than having a finger choil. So you'll notice that the scales here are perfectly smooth. There is a little bit of a recess here, which I think that's more for aesthetics really, and mainly just to be able to taper the knife here off towards the bottom. So it doesn't have a finger choil to stop your finger from sliding forward, but instead uses some quite abrasive, this is really quite sharp jimping here, which again, I'm not sure whether I like or dislike, but I get why it's there. When you hold this knife here, the friction that it creates against your finger is, I mean, that's tough. A knife is a tool, should never be used in a thrusting motion, but being able to have something that, you know, having jimping on the top of a friction of a slip joint just doesn't make sense in a lot of instances, whereas having it under here to stop your finger from moving forward is a very good idea. I like it. The rest of the knife consists of 2 layers of scales. This doesn't have any sort of metal liners inside. If you're worried about bending, you really shouldn't. I pressed that with as hard as I can and it maybe went 0.5 millimeter. They are good tough scales. You get a deep carry pocket clip, whether you're a tip up or a tip down kind of person. Well, this is a tip up, and it can't be moved to the other side. Then you've got 3 screws which hold the whole thing together, and a small lanyard hole. Just to compare this to some other knives, so this is the Liangmar number 5, which is another Heinnie Haynes special edition knife. Putting them side by side, you can see they are roughly comparable. The number 5s cutting edge is slightly longer, but only by a few millimeters, mainly because that belly here, there's more of a curve on there, and it has this nice kind of bit there that, you know, for helping it to get out, although it is a bit of a pain because you get this here. I'll leave a link to this. I have already reviewed this knife. It was, in fact, I think it was actually the first review I ever did, so it's nice to come back to this. But as I say, yeah, you know, they're both fairly comparable knives. Weight wise, this is a lot lighter, mainly because, well, you've possibly got twice the amount of steel on this knife, and it's also steel lined. Another knife that I carry a lot here is the Svord Peasant Mini. Again, the length of the cutting edge is roughly the same, although this knife is slightly shorter with the radius of the belly there. It is just that extra little bit longer. But I suppose all in all, if you were to put both knives together, they are, you know, very similar knives. And weight wise, this is the main reason that I went for this knife, to compare. Weight wise, they are pretty much the same. I've not put them on a fine scale so I can work out exactly the difference, but they do feel in the hand pretty much the same weight. And I thought I might as well show this one off, mainly because this is one of the knives that I'll be doing in the giveaway. So here we have the Victorinox Pioneer. Very similar knife in the respect of stature. Obviously they're very different knives, and the fact that this is more of there are a lot more tools on here, but in stature wise, the Pioneer is slightly heavier, but you know, when they're in your pocket, you know, they're both great little knives. So that is my quick review. Oh, I mean, well, how about this? I recommend this knife. It is a great knife. If you're here in the UK, you'll be able to pick up these Heinnie versions from Heinnie Haynes, which is, I'll put it in the bottom here rather than me spelling it out. So you can pick it up from there, $29.99, and it's a great little knife. I highly recommend you pick up one of these, and I'm under no obligation from Heinnie to say that, or Henny. Yeah, they're not paying me, but hey, hit me up if you want to. That'd be ace. So as normal, if you like this video, give me that thumbs up. That's always good. It always helps. It's nice to know. If you want to talk, then do. I find that I get a lot of people that are quite active in my comments, and I love that. I try to get back to people as often as I can. Hit that subscribe button. As we've seen, that I'm doing a giveaway. As soon as I hit 1,000 subscribers, I'll be doing this giveaway, and I can't wait to get this gear out to somebody. Oh yeah, don't forget, follow me on Instagram at Moorlander_EDC. Cool. But for now, stay safe, stay Moorlander, and stay EDC.